Right, y'all. We'll get started in just a couple minutes. Grab a blanket or a pillow, and a blanket or a towel or a pillow off your bed. So grab some comfortable things. I think on the schedule this was posted as a flow class, but we're chilling per usual on Friday. We're going to be working with a little bit of breath work, some stillness, and a few restorative yin postures to help us unwind a little bit after what it felt kind of like a long week. Time has been flying lately, and this week felt a little bit longer than it has been. So if you're there with me, hopefully this will be helpful for you. So grab a blanket or a towel, and then a pillow, like a bed pillow or something that's got enough surface area to support you. Maybe a couple pillows will be necessary. Alright. Some power from my laptop and we'll get going. So you can welcome yourself to a seat. This might be cross-legged or maybe kneeling. I think I'm gonna go with kneeling tonight. I do like this kneeling position if your knees are feeling okay today, because it just very gently loosens the tops of the thighs and gets a nice little quad stretch. Cross-legged seat is very welcome. Maybe you sit with your legs extended out, anything that feels comfortable for you. Sometimes sitting doesn't feel super comfortable, so it also doesn't have to feel that way. You can lean up against a wall, but just find yourself upright and awake. And my name is Noel. It's really, really nice to have you here tonight, or I always do this every class, but if you're in the future, hello to you there too. Thanks for taking time out of your day to be with me. Before we head into any practices, I think at least myself as a teacher, I base what I teach off of what I know and what I feel in my body, what my own practices are, because for me that feels like somewhere I can truthfully speak from. But these experiences might be very, very different for you. They might feel different. Your body is different than mine, which is the best thing about it. And we do, within some context, especially through these live classes where we're not being able to interact, you get to kind of individualize your own practice, and that can feel difficult sometimes, but it also gives you a lot of freedom for yourself to find your own way and to really suit your own body's needs. So I'll do my best to support you from here where I am, but I also invite you to really explore and to use as many cushions or blankets or even your bed if you need to, so that you can really feel comfortable and just good in your space, whatever that looks like. So finding your seat. I might regret this in a couple minutes. It feels a little intense already, but finding your seat, comfy-ish. Hands can rest on your thighs. And then just take a few big shoulder shrugs. So draw the shoulders up towards the ears, let them drop down the back, roll them forward and backwards. Around some nice big oval shapes. Maybe the shoulders feel a little crunchy today. Maybe it's a little more square shaped. Just some movement in the shoulders, letting the arms just loosely move with them. And then reverse that shape back the other direction. If you're going back, go forward, vice versa. Very good. And then loosen the shoulders up. For a lot of us, it's definitely in our culture these days to be hunching forward, kind of rounding the shoulders on our laptops, on our phones, driving, all of the things. So if you notice that you're already hunching forward, see if you can just expand your collarbones a little bit by just drawing the shoulders towards your back. And then sit up a little taller. If you're looking down at the ground, maybe lift your vision. Let the hands rest comfortably on the thighs so the shoulders are relaxed, so the sides of your neck can start to lengthen as well. Notice if the jaw is tight. I always clench my teeth, so if you're doing that, see if you can relax your face a little bit. And then if you're in a space that feels comfortable and safe for you today, I invite you to try closing your eyes. And if at any time the space does not feel safe, you hear weird noises, open your eyes, check it out. But you can also keep the eyes open the entire time. So just start by noticing your physical body and how it's feeling today. Are you really digging the seat that you chose, or does it feel a little uncomfortable already? Are you noticing that the back feels tight? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel anxious? Is your belly full? When you land in the chest area, start to notice how your heartbeat feels. If you're feeling anxious or a little up energy today, you might notice that the heart rate is a little faster. And if you can't connect with that, you might take time to just put your hand onto your heart. Take a moment to feel your own heartbeat and see what it feels like today. Hands towards the left center of your chest, just allowing yourself to feel your heartbeat. And just like the differences in each of our bodies, our heartbeats are completely unique and original to us. Taking a moment to truly appreciate that, the uniqueness and the originality of what is underneath your own hand right now. And then in the same general area, let's begin to focus on our breath. My breath feels a little tight, a little choppy. I was running a little late, so I felt a little bit anxious about making it on time to be here today. So you might just encourage your body to relax around the idea of a bigger breath in and a bigger breath out. And if the body meets you with resistance, it's telling you, no, not today, I'm going to breathe tightly and that's where I am, then just embrace that too. Because part of this practice is not forcing yourself or contorting into specific positions or ways that are not your own. This practice is about truly accepting exactly where you are, because this is where we find our starting line, and that's how we can grow as people. To be better or different from day to day, from breath to breath, and allowing that definition of what is good and bad or better or worse to dissipate along with the movements, along with these breaths individually. I'll start to focus on a 3-part breath. I like to bring my hand to my belly, right around the belly button area, give it a little rub for good luck. And then start to see if you can breathe into your bottom hands. And if the breath is resistant today, that's okay. Breathe as big as you can, as low as you can, but start to fill up, sit up a little taller, make some space. And as you exhale, nice and slow, let the breath seep out. Inhale, fill up into the hands, stand up tall. And exhale out out the nose or the mouth. Just slowly let the breath go. One more time, inhale. And exhale. That's good work, y'all. Bring the hands to your thighs, keeping this nice deep flowing breath, feeling the breath as low as you can, just working on making it a little bit bigger. Bring the hands down towards your knees. We're going to do some seated variations of our cat-cows or spinal flexion. We'll start with the hands generally pressing kind of hard into your thighs. You want a good grip here. You don't want to bring tension into the hands, but you want like a solid base with the hands. And from here, bend your elbows and start to press your chest forward. By this, we're squeezing the shoulder blades together like you're trying to hold a pencil between them. And again, broadening the collarbone. So press the chest forward. Now, if it feels okay on your low back, you can let the belly go a little further forward as well. If you start to feel pressure in the low back, back out with the belly. Think belly button to spine a little bit more to support that. And if it feels good, you might even lift your vision, look up. So this is like our seated cow pose here. And if you feel good looking up, you might even jut your chin out and up a little bit to lengthen the sides of your jaw and your throat. Get a little stretch in there. You can roll the bottom jaw around. Good. Check in with the breath. On your next inhale, fill up a little bit more, expand the chest a little further forward. And as you exhale, drop the chin in towards your chest and your throat. Start to press the shoulders behind you, finding a nice rounding forward motion. So what we think we want to avoid, or what we do very often, we'll actually exaggerate here for a moment. And this is our cat pose. Especially here, pressing the palms into the thighs or whatever they can touch can be nice. And you're kind of hollowing out the center of your chest. And from here, you can kind of tuck your head from side to side, from shoulder to shoulder, sweeten it up on the neck a little bit. And without forcing your way there, find the bottom of your next exhale. And the next breath in, we'll find a little bit faster movement. Inhaling to that seated cow pose, press the chest, maybe the belly forward, lift your vision. If it feels okay, lift the chin. As you exhale, chin to chest, start to arch and round through the spines. Press your shoulders behind you, arching like a Halloween cat. Inhale brings the chest and the belly forward. Maybe you look up. Exhale, chin to chest, round and curl your spine. Press your palms into something. Let's take one more round of this. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. I had to sneak one more in because I felt it. And then slowly bring yourself to an upright seat. We'll switch it up here. If you're in a kneeling seat, come to sit on your bum. Move props out of the way for now. If you're cross-legged, just extend your left leg out to the side. My knees feel tight after that. So if you feel tight in your knees, or you know you have tight backs of legs, if you're hypermobile like me and you can kind of lock your bones out in weird positions, you're double jointed, any of these things, a blanket might be really nice, or that towel to just roll up a few times. Oh, this is a terrible fold, but here we are. Your messily folded blanket like me, place a little roll underneath your left knee. And then actively press the back of your leg into that for just a moment. Make sure it feels okay with a little pressure on it. And then check in with your left foot. Roll your toes and your ankle around a few times, loosening up through there. Maybe pausing for that nice stretch on the shin. And then the right sole of foot can be pretty close to the thigh. You might take a wider base, just depends on what feels best for your body. And then take a moment to adjust your seat, your sweet potatoes, I like to call them if you've been in my classes before. Adjust your seat a little out to the side and behind you so that you almost are just very slightly hinging forward. This right knee probably won't touch the ground, that's okay. And then from here, bring your left hand onto the thigh or just outside of it if you can. If the ground feels far away for the hands, you can always bring a book or something there as well. And then spin a little over to the right. So look over your right shoulder, your bent knee. Reach the right hand high, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, just lean a little over to the left. Maybe you bend into the left elbow, or you can also lower down to the left forearm on your thigh. So first we find that little bit of twist, that broadening of the collarbones that we did earlier, and then the arm can reach up and maybe rainbow a little over the ear. Now if you notice any funky feelings in your shoulder, this might be feeling like you're kind of overextending here. You might feel like the shoulder's coming out of the socket. It can be nice to just relax the hand to the top of your shoulder and reach up through the elbow instead. Or you can actively pull the shoulder down and find that stretch up through the elbow or the fingertips this way, so a little bit more active. The right knee has really traveled along with you, so if you can just kind of let it hang loose here instead, finding a little opposing action of the right knee dropping down as you lift up and out with your chest. And with these side stretches, it can be really easy to hold your breath. If you're doing that, please breathe. Please breathe. Thank you. Starting to find that same breath encouragement from earlier, breathing big into the right side rib cage, all the way down into the hip and the low back. And exhaling to let go of a little tension. Okay, now keeping the rest of the body as it is, start to drop your chin towards your left shoulder, so you're looking towards your extended leg. And then really look as far to the left as you can, stretching that right side of your neck a little bit. Once you found a good head position, drop the right hand down, and maybe you sweep it towards your low back, or you can even crawl the fingertips towards the left side of your waist. And then really drop the right shoulder away from the right ear, feeling that nice stretch to the right side of your neck. Whew, that got intense fast, so make sure you're still breathing, please. One more round of breath here. And as you're ready, slowly sit up tall. Keep the legs as they are. Reach both fingertips high. And exhale, relax it down. Very nice. Now we'll just swap out legs here. So the left knee will rebend. The right leg extends out to the side. Well, if you've ever had kombucha, and it's in a bottle like this, it makes noises the entire time. It's like trying to escape because there's fermentation happening. And it makes a lot of noise and it scares me. I wonder if you guys saw it on camera. Move your kombucha if it's by you and you're practicing, or be ready to be startled. So just finding the shape on the other side can be called half dragonfly. Adjusting your seat or your sweet potatoes. Right leg is generally extended long with some support to encourage a little micro bend in that knee. And then the left foot can be in close towards your thigh, or you can allow it to take up some more space, whatever feels best for you. Then taking a moment to sit up tall, maybe rolling out those right toes, the ankle, any movements that feel good here. And then right hand can drop to right thigh or just to the outside of it. I like mine back here a little bit, I think. And then notice if you right away are kind of dumping into the right shoulder. I felt that on the other side, so I want to bring it up here. So if you can draw the right shoulder a little further back behind you. And then sweep the left hand high, take a big breath in, look to the left, look towards your left thigh, and then slowly bend into the right elbow or drop to the right forearm, lean over to the right. So keeping that nice capital T-like shape of the collarbones, thinking of broadening the chest, that little lift of the chest like from our cow pose can be really nice here. And then know that you have options depending on how your shoulder is feeling. You can always bend the elbow. And then focus in on the breath, the little counter pose of pressing the left knee down as you lift up and out through the left elbow. Encourage yourself to take those big breaths and those slow exhales from the beginning of class from our seated position. One more breath in. And a full breath out. And then keeping everything as it is, just start to look to the right this time, drawing the chin to the right shoulder. And then relax the left hand down behind you, maybe even just pressing it to the low back and bending the elbow. And then just keep looking as far to the right as feels good in your own neck. I've had a really tight right side of my neck and shoulder, so this is feeling a little uncomfortable for me. So I'm just gonna back out a little bit and find a depth that feels better. Releasing a little tension from the left side of your neck, relaxing that left shoulder as much as you can. One more unhurried, unrushed breath in. And breath out. And slowly reach both hands high. And exhale, relax them down. Cool. If your neck and shoulders are feeling anything like mine, let's get a little bit more into that. You can find a comfortable cross-legged seat if you want a pad underneath your ankles, or come back to that kneeling seat for a moment. I think a lot of us hold tension in the jaw, which translates directly into the neck, into the shoulders, remembering that the body is all interwoven, interconnected. So if we're feeling it here, it's probably coming from somewhere else, but let's start with where we're feeling it. For me, it's the neck today. So we'll do a few neck stretches before we get more into the hips. So let's bring both hands back behind us now. You can interlace the hands. This can feel difficult sometimes, so you might place the hands on the hips instead. You can get the same effect. We're going to find that squeeze of the shoulder blades together again. So sitting up tall, squeezing the shoulder blades together like you're trying to hold a pen or a pencil in there. And if you have the hands in one big fist, you can also straighten the arms a little bit to get more depth, but just see what feels good for your body today. And then from here, keeping the shoulders and the arms engaged just as they are, drop the chin in towards your chest. And then you can start to just very slowly and sweetly rock the head a little from side to side. So think barely rolling one ear to one shoulder. If you find a sweet spot, for me, I said the right side of my neck is feeling it, so I might pause with my chin to the left and breathe into any tight or crunchy spaces that you're feeling. Maybe movement is feeling better, you're just moving side to side very slowly, being sweet to yourself here. And then relax the shoulders. Sweep both arms in front of you. If you can, press the palms to touch, cool. Otherwise, keep some space and just reach the fingertips forward. We're going to find that cat pose-like shape. So start to press the shoulders back behind you. Hollowing out once more. If the hands are touching, you can press the palms into one another. Reach the fingertips away from you so you find that nice length, broadening of the back of the shoulders. And then from here, put your right elbow on top of your left. You can give yourself a bear hug, or if you have eagle arms in your practice, you can find a bind by pressing the backs of the hands together or the palms together. Either one is fine, all the same benefits, just depends on what feels best in your body. And then from here, keep reaching the elbows forward like they're your fingertips. So extending the elbows away from your chest, and then let's start to sit up tall and lift the elbows with us. If it feels good, you can lift up, lean back a little bit, look up. And exhale, let's drop the elbows down in towards the belly button or the pelvis. Inhale, lift the elbows, look up. And exhale, round and curl. Very nice. This time, inhale, lift, look up. And then start to draw some big ovals with your elbows. Again, These shapes might be a little bit more square if you're feeling tight in the shoulders or these movements are choppy. And then reverse those back the other way. Just drawing some beautiful shapes with your elbows. Creativity time, free draw time. Maybe you draw a portrait of yourself. Very nice. And then slowly come back to center. Release the arms out wide. Take a big breath in. Fan your palms open. And exhale, come back to a seat. All right. Feeling a little better. Hopefully you guys are with me. I think there's 4 of you on here today. We got 1 thumbs up. Thanks, y'all. Okay, let's get into the hips. What do we want to do today? Let's start with a twist. These have been really helpful for my low back recently. So we'll extend our left leg out once more, but this time let it come straight out from the hip, so toes in line with your hip here. And then if it's possible, you can cross your right foot to the outside of the left leg. The cross can happen way down by the shins, or you might have a nice tight cross up towards your belly. Either one is fine. It just depends on like where you're feeling spacious today. Give yourself some space in the upper body to feel good. And then from here, drop your right fingertips back behind you. Now, if you are watching today and you are breathing for 2, aka expecting a sweet bébé anytime soon, you'll take this twist to the left instead. If you are not expecting a sweet bébé anytime soon, beautiful. You can drop your right hand back behind you. We'll twist to the right. So the left hand reaches up, and then exhale, twist over to your right. Now you can just reach with your fingertips as you broaden the collarbones, reaching the right shoulder back behind you, or you might hook the elbow to the outside of the leg to give yourself a little bit more traction. And you can keep walking that right hand further back to give yourself some more space, almost like a little reclined twist here. Now if you're taking the twist from the opposite direction, and this might feel better for you even if you're not expecting a sweet bébé, left hand back behind you, right elbow can press into the leg and open that up, and this feels spectacular for me today, so I'm going to stay in this open twist instead. So this time my left shoulder wraps back behind me, right fingertips reach forward. Wherever you are, focus on sitting up tall, finding length through the spine. If it feels okay for your neck, you can look over the shoulder that you're twisting towards. So if you have your left hand back behind you, you'll look towards the left. If you have your right hand back behind you, you'll look towards the right. Notice if the right foot is kind of creeping up away from the ground, so if you can press it down a little bit. And then get a little bit more active through that left leg. If it's gone floppy and relaxed, see if you can flex the foot a little bit, toes up and back. One more breath in wherever you are. And a breath out. And slowly unwind, a little counter twist opposite way that you just did. And we'll just swap out the legs. Right leg extends out long, left knee bends. If you can step the foot to the outside of the leg, cool. Give yourself space. Put the foot as far down as you need to, or if you want to really pull it in and sit up tall, this is welcome as well. If the legs crossing does not work for you, you can always just place that foot to the inside of your right leg. Adjust your seat. Make sure you're not kind of dumping into one side more than the other. And then sit up tall. If you want to go for the standard twist, left hand back behind you, right hand reaches high. Inhale to find length, and as you exhale, find your twist. Left shoulder wraps back. Hook the elbow or just reach your right arm. Or another beautiful variation of this twist is going to be right hand back behind you, left hand to the inside of your left knee. And the variation this way gets a little deeper into my left hip, which feels really nice. I hold a lot of tension there personally, so it just depends on what you are needing today, individualizing this practice for you. Another breath or two here, focusing on sitting up tall. As you exhale, you might find more space within your body to wrap a shoulder further back behind you. And finish out this last breath here. And slowly relax, unwind. Drop your hands to the opposite side of you, just giving yourself a little counter twist. This is like my favorite part of twisting, is going the opposite way. And then we'll find the soles of the feet together, knees out wide. You have sensitive ankles. You roll your ankles really often, like I do. Like anytime you walk anywhere, any day, you might feel some sensitivity here. I've been noticing that a lot lately, so I've been liking to take some padding underneath my ankles to support myself. For those of us with tight hips, you might want to take your pillow and your blanket to the outside of your knees to support a little bit of the gravity of your knees coming down towards the ground, or you can just leave them unsupported. Once more, adjust your sweet potatoes out to the side and give yourself a little bit of space between your heels and your pelvis here. So this might mean walking the heels a little further away from you and making sure your seat still feels comfortable. Bring the hands wherever they land comfortably, but avoid pressing on your knee joints, so thighs or calves. Take a big breath in, sit up tall. Exhale here. And then inhale, think cow pose. Press your belly and your chest forward. Exhale, think cat, arch and lift through the spine. Press your shoulders back behind you as you dome and round. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, press the chest forward. And exhale, round and curl. Coming back to that nice tall neutral spine, sit up tall. And as you exhale, you might fold or you can stay seated upright. For those of us, this might be plenty of sensation, but if you'd like a little bit more, think of hinging from the hips here. So starting to reach your chest towards your toes, leaning forward, and then using your hands for support. For me, pretty tight today in the hips. This is about as far as I'm gonna go. For some of us, we might fold all the way forward, and others might be up here. Any of these stops are perfect. Just allow yourself to feel supported. We're going for about 50% of sensation. So if you're folded over and you're like, I'm at 100, it's here, I'm feeling it, back out a little bit and give yourself space, because we'll be here for around 2 minutes. And sometimes hearing the amount of time we're going to be in this shape gives me massive anxiety, so I'm sorry if I just imparted that on you, but we're just here for some breaths, you know, so just breathe just like we did before. You may take a pillow and snuggle it up to your chest. And as we settle into a hip stretch shape, I know a lot in yoga we talk about crying and hip openers and stuff like that. And for me lately, I have just been getting like really angry when I'm in a hip stretch that feels intense to me. I can't get comfortable. I'm moving around. I'm clenching my teeth, and it does not feel relaxing in the slightest. So just acknowledging whatever comes up for you. I won't label it for you today. Maybe you do feel emotional here. Maybe you do feel angry. Maybe you feel really relaxed and comfortable. But any of these emotions and the whole range of them maybe in these 2 minutes is very welcome and very valid here. So don't feel the need to label or think of what should come up or what should your shape look like. Just let it be yours today. And earlier, just how we breathed into the belly, see if you can breathe into your low back. So focusing on really filling up. We're still breathing into the belly, but this helps to expand into the low back, which is nice and open right now with this hip stretch. these last about 10 rounds of breath, just start to scan your body again and notice if you're holding tension. Maybe you are clenching your jaw. Maybe you're gripping through your fingertips. See if there's somewhere that you can soften a little bit into this, or maybe you just imagine that you can soften, even if you don't physically do it today. That can be a first step for you to learn how to take more control of your own body. Last breath here. Fill up as big as you can. Really feel the backside of your body expand just as much as the front. And exhale, let it go. And slowly begin to walk yourself back upright. If you were already upright, you're ahead of the game. And just take a moment to extend the legs out in front of you. Point the toes, stretching through the top of the leg, and then kick out through the heels as you pull the toes back a few times. You can make some circular motions with the feet here. And our last pose is going to be upright. And we're going to take a forward fold. We did this last week in my class, and it's one of my favorites. We'll also be using our blanket and our towel. So, make yourself a little roll. This is actually kind of a big roll, but we want it to be kind of a thin roll for comfort purposes. So a blanket or a towel, make sure that you're not folding it too many times because you want it to be more sushi roll than burrito. More spaghetti than linguine. Oh, my own jokes are getting me today. Not a good sign. Hopefully you're laughing too. Now, we have a couple options here. If in forward folds you're like, that sounds way too active for me today, that's okay. You can come up against a wall, or you can take this seated, but I find it that it feels better standing up. So you might find yourself up against a wall. And then we're going to take that blanket roll, place it kind of at the top of our hips or tops of the thighs even. You want to make sure your belly has some space here, so you might need to adjust or swaddle it underneath your belly. And then take the feet out wider than the hips. You have a nice stable base. Take a big bend into the knees so you have some buoyancy. And then we're going to start to press the butt back as we fold and hinge over our blanket. So you're starting to compress the belly with that blanket. You can see why now it can feel better to have a smaller roll because it feels intense right off the bat. Allow the chin to drop in towards the throat so the head is relaxed. You might even encourage the head to relax by shaking it from side to side. You can use the hands or the elbows on the thighs to take a little bit of the intensity out of it by lifting the chest slightly, or you can let the hands drape and put your entire weight into the blanket roll compression. Just see what feels good. If you're feeling any sort of pinching into the rib cage, you might need to unroll your blanket and make the roll a little smaller. And we'll come back to that deep 3-part breath, inhaling all the way low into your belly. And we call it a 3-part breath because it's kind of 3 compartments that we're working into. So as you inhale, you fill up through the chest, and then the ribs, and then the belly, breathing into the entirety of your lungs. And as you exhale, you reverse that motion, belly, ribs, chest, and out. Sending some love and affection and breath into the back sides of the legs. Mine are on fire right now, so just recognizing once again wherever your body is at, whatever resistance or
feelings are coming up right now, they are valid, they are welcome, and just greet them like you would a dear friend. Just 3 more rounds of breath here. Very slowly begin to lift the chest. You can place the hands onto the thighs. Release the blanket roll. And very slowly roll all the way up to standing. You know, we're standing in a chill class. This may be a first for me. Reach the hands up overhead. Take a nice good morning stretch. Reach from the feet out through the fingertips. And exhale, relax the hands down. Let's meet back in a seat. All right, y'all. If you want to Shavasana, please set yourself up, give yourself 5 to 10 minutes there. But I've been just ending in a seated short meditation, so if you'd like to join me for that, you're welcome to, but you can also lay down and find your normal Shavasana if that feels better for you today. But for me lately, being upright and being a little bit more with it has felt better to just be present in my own body. So allow yourself to adapt to what you need here. A comfortable seat. You can take another bolster underneath your hips. You can take a bolster underneath your knees if you're laying down. Lots of options. Make sure you feel comfortable. And then once again, I invite you, if you feel safe and comfortable in the space that you're in, you can close the eyes or just allow a softer gaze, kind of blurring your vision a little bit. If you're seated upright, find the relief and the rest of letting go of the muscles. We're not forcing a tall spine. We're not forcing ourselves to be here. You can let yourself relax into this seat. Let the ground support you. And if you're laying down, even easier, allow the ground to really support you. If you notice that you're lifting or holding or engaging muscles, see if you can stop. And if allergies are not getting the best of you today, and you can breathe in and out through your nose, begin to do that. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. And if that feels forced, breathe through the mouth, breathe out through the mouth, anything that feels accessible for you. And as you settle into a rhythm with your breath, begin to think of your favorite color. And then notice if the color is vibrant and saturated or if it is pastel or a little dull or washed out. You might adjust the hue a little bit to fit your mood today. And this color that you've chosen is the color and the painting of your breath today. So we're going to trace the breath with this color. As we breathe in, imagine this color tracing your sinuses, down the back of your throat, into the chest, back to the ribs and the belly, expanding and filling this space with that beautiful hue that you've chosen. And as you exhale, like you're washing paint down a drain, allow the breath to travel back out along with the color, clearing out the space. Inhaling, filling up, tracing and painting behind that breath all the way, big as you can. And as you exhale, retracing that breath back out, erasing or washing away any of that. Inhale. And exhale. As you paint with your breath, you might start to add in some of your other favorite colors. to paint a bigger picture. You might choose the favorite color of your partner or of your child or of your friend or your mother or father. Or maybe you just choose a variation of yourself that has a different favorite color. Allowing the color to start to expand into a few different hues or maybe an entirety of a rainbow. Tracing and painting with your breath. If it feels good to you today, you can bring your hand back to the left center of chest, finding your heart. Maybe bring the hand to the belly. Feeling the action of painting with your breath. And in your mind, imagining how beautiful that painting is, that unique and original painting that only you will ever know. And this painting that you've just created is all yours for your eyes only. And that can be hard sometimes to have something completely and entirely for yourself. Another few rounds of breath to finish your painting. And slowly relax the hands away from the hearts. Blink your eyes open if they're closed. Welcome yourself back. If you're laying down, I encourage you to stay. If you're seated upright, let's take a moment of connection. I'm seeing you through this screen. You're seeing me. And that can feel really good to be seen, right? So today we focused a lot on taking care of ourselves and finding things within ourselves, which is the work that we can do on our mats. And this is the start to rippling out into how we carry ourselves out into the world. So the work we do on these spaces is meant to ripple out bigger into the rest of the world. The work we do on ourselves makes us a better person to interact with for every other human around us. And just representing wanting to do good work on you for other people. So there's a little bit of selflessness in showing up for this practice. So I really ask that you take time to thank yourself for showing up today, for being a better person in that big giant world out there, and just being so grateful for this practice being gifted to us by so many cultures and so many different heritages that are not mine, and generations and generations of support to allow us to find something that helps us from day to day here. My name is Noel. Thank you again for being here. This practice will be available on YouTube for people in the future. One day I'll think of a better joke than that. But I hope you find some joy in your Friday evening. I hope you're able to connect with maybe people that you live with, or maybe some Zoom happy hours or whatever makes you feel good. Maybe that's alone time for you. But take a few minutes if you have the time to do that for yourself tonight. And thank you. Oh, yeah. If you want to donate for class, I forgot. I'm taking donations for this class, blackswanyoga.com/live. If you have the means, cool. If not, thank you for being here. It does not matter if you can pay for this class or not. These are here for you guys. And I'm so happy to be able to support you in this way. If you want to connect with me, Instagram, being.evergreen, like human being, .evergreen, like the tree. And I hope that you hit me up there and we can chat a little bit more. Thanks,